going on, guys? It's Ricardo, and today we are going to be unboxing the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'll be upgrading from my iPhone 10, so I'm excited to open this bad boy up. I almost picked up the midnight green, but to be honest, blue and gray are kind of like my two favorite colors, so I went with the space gray again. Been rocking the black iPhone 10 for 2 years now. I went with the Max, the larger screen, because I really love the size of my iPhone 10. The size is almost perfect. I just wish it was a tad bit larger. And for that reason, I almost went with the iPhone 11. But the fact that they widened the aperture on the iPhone 11 Pro of the telephoto lens, I believe it was 2.8 and now it's 2.0. Using it to shoot pictures when we're on vacation and stuff like that, I think it'll come in handy. Funny enough, I purchased an Osmo Pocket and an Osmo Action. The Osmo Pocket was to record behind the scenes for video production jobs, and then the Osmo Action was to record home movies and vacations when we go to the beach. You know, having a waterproof camera with an ultra wide lens was something that I really liked. Now I'm gonna have to, put this up in a video against the Osmo Action and the Osmo Pocket. If you guys are interested in those videos, let me know, drop a comment down below. And then I'll, prep those videos and find some cool and fun ways for us to test that. Apple is touting this as being the most durable iPhone ever. So this is gonna be my first experience with iOS 13 and that new dark mode. I'm excited to use this triple lens system. This thing is it's a beaut. So I'll be putting up the iPhone 11 Pro up against the iPhone 10 in some camera comparisons. It's not exactly fair. The iPhone 10 is now 2 years old, but that is what I upgraded from, so that's what I'm gonna share with you. In case any of you are on the same boat with an iPhone 10 or the iPhone 8 or 8 Plus, you can see what the camera differences are. Now that we have the iPhone set up on the home screen, let's go ahead and take a look at what else comes in the box. On the iPhone 11 Pro models, Apple is finally including the fast charger. It's an 18-watt USB-C charger. Using the fast charger, Apple says that you can charge your battery up to 50%. So from 0 to 50 in just 30 minutes. Then we have our standard earpods. Apple no longer includes the Lightning to headphone jack adapter. And then here we have the USB-C to Lightning cable. Now, new to the 11 and the 11 Pro, Apple has changed their speaker setup, and it now supports Dolby Atmos, which physically, hardware-wise, it's still stereo speakers left and right, but Apple has added some magic to emulate multi-channel surround sound. So I'm curious to see how that sounds. I don't watch a ton of movies on my phone, but I do like to review the videos that I make for my business, as well as these YouTube videos. And so just if you can get better sound out of a phone, that's enough for me. Whether it's Dolby or not, that's not something I really care for, but the fact that it's there, I welcome it. So tomorrow we'll go ahead and shoot some photo and video comparisons to give you a better idea of the telephoto lens and the regular wide lens. Let's have a look. Alright, so starting with the comparison, we're taking a look at this picture of the sun, and we can immediately see that the iPhone XR has a much cooler image than the iPhone 10 and does a better job with the dynamic range, showing you a little more information in the shadows of the clouds down towards the bottom. The iPhone 11 Pro, however, gives you more details in the clouds, and its dynamic range does so well with the highlights, it makes the sun appear to be smaller. If you take a look at the clouds at the bottom half of these photos, you can tell that I'm standing the same distance away from the sun, even though the sun looks smaller on the iPhone 11 Pro's picture. Now, once again, we can tell the iPhone XR gives you more details in the shadows when compared to the iPhone 10. On the iPhone 11 Pro, if you look at the top left corner, you can see more information around the street light than you can on the iPhone 10 or the XR. There are blue skies and some cloud information that's not captured by the other two cameras. Here in the kitchen, we have a selfie test of the front-facing camera on the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Now, by default, on the new iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, when you rotate the iPhone to landscape, the image will expand so that it's using 12 megapixels instead of 7. This results in a much wider selfie. On top of that, we can tell that the iPhone 11 Pro Max has much better dynamic range once again by looking at the ceiling lights behind our heads. The iPhone 11 Pro shows the ceiling light as well as the cabinets around it, whereas on the iPhone 10, that area is completely blown out. Moving back outside, here's another look at the wider selfie on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. In this picture, all the cameras did a great job in regards to dynamic range and accurate colors. But again, you can see the extra real estate you're getting with that ultra wide selfie. Now here's a comparison of the 2x telephoto lens on the iPhone 10 and 11 Pro Max. In addition to the extra details you can see in the shadows on the iPhone 11 Pro, the iPhone also took advantage of the new auto adjust feature. Auto adjust, which is exclusive to the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro Max, recognized that part of the succulent was cut off on the left side. To fix this, all I had to do was tap the edit button, go to crop, and then zoom out on that picture that I already had taken. This allowed me to have a wider shot that contained the full plant after the picture was already taken. Switching over to the standard wide lens on all three phones, the iPhone XR and 11 Pro Max look extremely similar. The 11 Pro Max appears to have a little bit more dynamic range, but it's really hard to tell. Now this shot right here is the big advantage of the new iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. The ultra-wide lens provides a field of view of about 120 degrees. Keep in mind the iPhone is in the same spot as the previous wide and telephoto pictures. You can see the greater field of view you can get just by using the ultra-wide lens. Next, we'll compare portrait mode on the iPhone 10 and the 11 Pro Max. Both are using the 2x telephoto lens. You can see that they both struggle to keep Woody's lasso in focus with the rest of his body. It also appears that the iPhone 10 is doing a better job overall, especially around Woody's hat. This is likely caused by the background of the hat, which is just green grass, whereas on the iPhone 11 Pro's picture, the brown hat is competing with the brown fence behind it. Now, with the iPhone 11 Pro, you can take the portrait mode photos with the wide lens as well. Here you're seeing the standard wide lens, not the ultra wide lens, but you'll notice there's a better separation around Woody's hat. Overall, the picture is very sharp and the subject is in focus for the most part. You can still see Woody's lasso is out of focus, but the lasso is very thin, so I'll give the iPhone a break here. Now we'll compare the front-facing camera's video capabilities. Alright, so now we're testing all three cameras, and it might be just slightly off axis, just because I'm holding all three recording at the same time. But we have the iPhone 10, we have the iPhone XR, and then we have the iPhone 11 Pro. Now the central air unit of the house just kicked in, so I don't know if you can hear that, but this will be a good audio test because there's no external microphones. We're recording with the same microphone, with the built-in microphone of the iPhones. So this will be a good audio test, and we can go ahead and listen to the iPhone 10, the iPhone 10's wind reduction on the microphone. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. And then we can listen to the iPhone XR's wind reduction. It is fairly windy outside. It's not extremely windy, but there is a breeze that comes through. Test 1 2 3. iPhone XR. Test 1 2 3. And then we have the iPhone 11 Pro. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Now the iPhone 11 Pro and the 11 Pro Max have the same microphones. The grill on the back, the rear microphone, is actually larger than previous model iPhones. So they now have a feature called audio zoom. So whenever you zoom in on a subject, the microphone on the back will get louder, and it'll actually reduce the microphone in the front so that the audio gets focused on the subject that you're filming, which I think is a pretty cool feature. I don't know if I'm going to use that much, but it's something that at least it's good to have. You can see on the iPhone 10, the sky is just completely blown out. I mean, I look good, the image quality looks really good, but the sky is just non-existent. It's just white. The XR does a much better job on the high dynamic range, but the image feels a little tighter than the iPhone 10, which is surprising, but it's doing a really good job. And then the 11 Pro is just destroying both phones. That 12 megapixel sensor is definitely doing a lot of work. I mean, you can see the sky. That's crazy. Wow, I did not think the differences would be that drastic, but you can see here, and if I go ahead and just adjust, It does a great job of adjusting on the fly. Wow, I'm really impressed. Now, something I found myself doing frequently with the iPhone 11 Pro was taking 3 pictures of the same subject, using a different lens each time. I would start with the 2x telephoto lens, then switch to the standard wide lens, and then take one with the ultra wide lens. This was something I never got bored of. Now here's a video sample of the ultra wide lens. I was leaving work and walking to my car while holding the iPhone 11 Pro Max normally. I wasn't trying to be extra careful. What you're seeing is the digital stabilization that Apple refers to as cinematic stabilization. Unfortunately, the ultra-wide lens doesn't have optical image stabilization, and honestly, I don't think you need it. If you stabilize your footage in post, this is how smooth it will look. Later that day, I met up with my wife Alina and decided to take some more portrait mode images. This is the standard wide lens portrait mode, and then here's a portrait mode using the 2x telephoto lens. To give you a comparison, here's an image with the standard wide lens without using portrait mode. Now let's take a look at the built-in stabilization each lens offers, starting with the telephoto lens. Now let's take a look at the standard wide lens. Finally, we'll take a second look at the ultra-wide lens. What is that?
The jump.
Airdrop. They won't hear this music. Next, I decided to test out the new audio zoom feature available on the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. This allows the iPhone to amplify the microphone whenever you're zooming in on a subject. At the same time, the iPhone will reduce the audio levels of the other mics that are recording the ambient sounds. It's very easy for me to get excited about new iPhones whenever they get announced. Last year was the first year in many that I decided to skip the upgrade and stay with my iPhone 10. After Apple announced the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro, I knew I was going to upgrade and give the iPhone 11 Pro a chance, but I wasn't confident that it would be leaps and bounds better than my iPhone 10. Apple loves to surprise and delight its customers, and they have certainly both surprised and delighted me with the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I expected the battery life to improve over my 2-year-old iPhone 10, but what I didn't expect was for me to end each day with 60 to 70% battery remaining after normal usage, which includes 5 to 6 hours of screen on time. The iPhone's performance is certainly snappier, and my larger apps like PUBG load much quicker. The speakers are incredibly loud and clear, and impress anyone who I demo them to. With all that said, the camera is the standout feature, and it puts to shame every iPhone before it. While this isn't the first iPhone to get me excited during its announcement, the iPhone 11 Pro Max is certainly the first iPhone to get me more excited after I already bought it. Thanks for watching, my friends. I hope this video provided some useful information to help you decide whether or not to pick up one of the new iPhones. If it did, be sure to hit that like button and click subscribe to catch more videos from my channel in the future. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.